The summer of Pierre Dorion continues as the Ottawa Senators lock up one of their own restricted free agents just days ahead of salary arbitration. I'm Ross Levitan from Locked On Senators, here to provide immediate reaction on the news that Mathieu Joseph has agreed to a 4-year contract extension worth a total of $11.8 million. That means the cap hit is 2.95, which is a trend we'll get into a little bit later. But my immediate reaction is pretty good deal for both sides. If you're the player, you're looking at this as a long-term plan where you eat up 2 years of your unrestricted free agency, but you're getting that number a little bit higher. It's an ascending contract, so Mathieu Joseph will make more money throughout the deal. 2.5 this upcoming season, 2.7 next year, and then 3.3 in the two unrestricted free agents that the team bought. What's also important, on both sides, is that they avoid salary arbitration. That's never a good process to go through, especially with a player you just acquired. Joseph came over in that Nick Paul trade near the trade deadline just this past season with a 4th-round pick. But something we'll get into on Locked On Senators tomorrow is which contract would you rather, which player would you rather right now. But why it's a good deal for the Ottawa Senators is you're betting on the upside. And I'm talking about a bit more of the upside than we saw in an 11-game sample, where he did have 12 points, which puts him at number 2, just behind Danny Heatley in franchise history for most points per game. And that's likely to change sooner than later. But it is a fun fact as of right now. He, of course, had that great hat-trick game against the Detroit Red Wings. He brings speed. He brings intensity. He's great on the forecheck, and he was buried in Tampa Bay's lineup. So the offense just wasn't available on power play opportunities or whatnot. He spent a decent chunk of time in Ottawa playing with Brady Tkachuk and Josh Norris on the top line. So he has that ability to move up and down the lineups. I think he's going to make a formidable penalty killer as well with his intensity and the way he hounds pucks on both sides of it. So I really like the upside here. You're also banking on the fact that this is a player who set career highs in both goals and points this past season. He's got the experience. He was a depth player in 2 cup runs. I know the first one in the bubble, he was just a black ace, but still got to go through the grind and learn from the Steven Stamkoses of the world and all of what makes the Tampa Bay Lightning so great. So I think from that perspective, you're getting a player who, he's won before, but I'd say he probably wants to be a bit more of a part of the victory in a team aspect, but he wants to contribute a little bit more is what I'm trying to say. And what this also does, a 4-year term, the only Senators who are signed for 4 or more seasons right now, Mathieu Joseph, Drake Batherson, Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, and Thomas Chabot. There's the core of your team right now. And that's pretty exciting if you're an Ottawa Senators fan. Joseph is 24 years old, so you're looking at a guy who still has some room to grow. Sorry, he just turned 25 this past season. So 25 years old, you're getting a guy who I think is just scratching the surface, and that's what the Senators are banking on when it comes to a 4-year contract that's going to pay him just under $3 million on an annual average. And let's finish off with that little fun anecdote. It's 2.95. And have we not seen a trend here? Josh Norris, 7.95. Drake Batherson, 4.95. It's hilarious. And it brings me back. I think Wally and Mathot were talking. And Meth said when he was in a contract negotiation, the team wanted it to look as though they were paying him under whatever that next number is. So now Dorion can say, hey, I'm paying him less than $3 million per season. I think that's kind of funny. I think Mathot ended up signing for 4.9, something like that. So it is kind of funny to look back and then look forward. The more things change, the more they stay the same. But this is certainly a welcome bit of news for the Ottawa Senators. I mentioned you don't want to go to arbitration, especially with a new player you're trying to bring in and become a part of your core. But also, this just speaks to the fact that the Ottawa Senators are trying to build a winner not only for today, but for tomorrow as well. And you look around the league, every third line has a player making more than $3 million. So right now, you've got Shane Pinto and then the unknown of the 2 remaining restricted free agents, one of them being Alex Formenton, who would slot in right now in pencil on that third line. So I think it's a pretty reasonable contract. Maybe you look at the fact that Mathieu Joseph was only making $800,000, just under it. Sorry, I'm sure Pierre Dorion would want me to correct that. He was making about $787,000 last year on a 2-year bridge deal. So he certainly gets his raise, but now here comes the expectations with that. And I think he's got enough to live up to the hype. So let us know in the comments. And then on tomorrow's Locked On Senators, I'm going to talk with Aleem Marsh. We're going to get into the whole Nick Paul, Mathieu Joseph. Those guys, obviously, their careers will be pretty intertwined as the guys who were traded for one another. So we'll get into all that and a whole lot more. Let us know in the comments what you think about this signing for the Ottawa Senators and what's next. Is it Brandstrom or Alex Formenton? For the Locked On Podcast Network, I'm Ross Levitan. We've got your team every day.